open the DCLDC meeting with a roll call. Jasmine, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amy Bonadero. Deidre Houston.
Here.
Tom LeCount.
Here.
Jane Bacone.
Here.
Brian Varian.
Here. Any conflict of interest disclosures? None that I see. Proof of meeting notice went out. Bills and communications, none. Approval of minutes, so we have the July 9th minutes only. In this case, we didn't have any items the last time.
I make a motion.
Thank
to
you.
accept the minutes.
I'll make a second.
Second, Jamie.
Brian Varian.
I'll abstain.
Jane Bacone.
Approve.
Tom LeCount.
Approve.
Deidre Houston.
Approve.
Mark Dahl.
Approved. Finances, if you have them, if you'd like to go ahead, Jan.
Okay, looking at the balance sheet, our cash is 2.6 million. The other is, we have an accounts payable of 29,000, that's accrued payroll. The P and L, right now, we have 529,000. Revenue to a budgeted revenue of 956,000. We're unfavorable by 427,000. We have total expenses of 798,000 to a budget of 1,393,000. So far, we're favorable by 595,000. We're at a we're at a net loss of 270,000 to a budgeted loss of 438,000. So far, we're favorable by 168,000. And just to let you know, the county reimbursement that we're asking you to approve is not included in this revenue.
Right.
Usually I would, but with everything going on, I didn't accrue it. So once it'll come in, hopefully this month.
And the 450 budget was knocked down to
250.
250, okay.
So, right, appreciate that, and seems that you are being very careful with expenses. That, though, are there large expense components that we'd expect now in the next?
I believe still with the savings on the salary side, I think we should be fine with any increases in, maybe the consulting we have. So I think we should be safe with the expenses. It's, the revenue, we're going to be off by the county, the difference in the county.
Yes.
And not reflected in here also is the IDA still will pay the LDC fee.
Yeah, but our
Not in here.
administrative fees are higher, so we should almost net out.
The 200, yes, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out, particularly for public consumption, as you guys know, the way it's reporting it may be misinterpreted. The IDA and LDC obviously are sitting on millions of dollars of reserves. And so the budget is based on the expenses of running the organization and what the county provides and the revenue you generate. But I think it has been the expectation, particularly since 2020, and I think it was somewhat at the direction of the legislature, is to use some of those reserves. So the negative position that you're seeing is we're going to be eating into reserves. I think that's going to be natural as long as you have at minimum 3 years of operating revenue available to you. So I think for anybody listening, they would say, the organization's losing money, but it is, I think it is somewhat the design that it uses its fee revenue on an annual basis. So you're dealing with your normal budget.
Yeah, we have an extremely strong balance sheet.
Yes.
And an extremely strong balance sheet, but with the knowledge that we have a cyclical economy.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to rely on that balance for some time to come.
And I think it's important, I think we laid this out years ago, that when you get to a point where you're within those 3 years of operating revenue and you get closer to where you are going to rely more heavily on the county for operations and programs, that the government would consider additional support to maintain those operations. So that has always been something that probably hasn't been brought up on a regular basis, but is important to know.
Right, well, we need that partnership.
Yeah.
Do we need to vote on the second quarter or is that already approved?
No, this we need to vote on,
Okay.
Okay,
which is the,
Payment request?
yes.
payment request, so do you want to just, that,
So, and as you see, there's the 1, 2, 3, fourth column has the expenditures this period that we're requesting,
The 54,250?
correct?
very good. So,
We need to make a motion or no?
motion and second,
Okay, I'm sorry. So I'll make a motion to request for the county to reimburse us for the $54,250.83. Dollars.
I'll second it.
thank you very much. Jamie and Brian,
Deidre House?
Yes.
Ron McCount?
Approved.
Jan Picone?
Approve.
Brian Varian?
Approved.
Mark Hopper.
approved. Okay, so, you have an item next, is your progress report? Is that, we've really
Same thing.
discussed that. Okay, so I think that those are the agenda items. Let's take on the rest of that discussion about hiring. So we have candidates. We have a process that you have, items that you have considered them under, that you're sharing. I think the next is to decide on the actual interview process. My point of view is that as many of us as possible should meet and be part of that interview process. So it's going to take some time, obviously, outside of our normal meeting times, but I really would appreciate the effort to do that. It will pay off. There's no question about that. I think we need to make as fine a decision as we can. So, Ron, what are your thoughts?
I'd like to go and have Jasmine put out a doodle poll to the board members and anybody else who wants to participate in the process that we may have spoken to, like Tim. And I would like if you could look at the 3 resumes that you've been provided, as well as the score sheet. And did we give that to them?
I did, I only sent it to Mark and Jamie, so I can forward
To everyone, yes, please.
to everybody.
I know your time is very valuable. I just ask if in advance you might want to go through and try to score them yourself. It'd be interesting to see what your perceptions are.
And submit the scores?
And, send them to Jane, and it'd be good to see if there's any significant deviation from our perceptions. And then we'll set the interviews for the 3 back to back, and love all your support and participation.
Can you email, I'm sure, I don't know if you did, can you email us also the job description?
Yes, everything was in,
Okay.
I'll just forward the.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have the job description
I
to.
would think time is of the essence so that they don't get poached or taken or.
Yeah, we don't know that those, the 3 that we've kind of want to promote to you, if they would accept or even
Right.
are still available.
Have you had contact with them directly?
No.
No, you have not, so you just, fine.
So we need our
think-
input to then contact them? Or should we just contact them?
I think you could.
If you trust us, I think we feel confident in the 3 that we've distilled it down to, and we'd love to reach out to them and let them know we're scheduling an interview.
Better.
Absolutely.
We could do that today.
100%.
Good. Just say they're being considered and we'd reach out with dates for interviews.
We will hold off, I think Jane, we discussed holding off on notifying anybody else until we see if any of those 3 are going to be accepted by you, and we'll go from there, so.
Now, last Thursday was the EDAC meeting, which Ron organizes and organized. I don't know if you typically organize it, Ron, but you do typically. All right. So I'd love you to report on that quickly, but I just a couple of comments. It's fascinating pitch that we had, I don't know if you'd call it a pitch, but it was at IBM. Let Ron go on a little bit more about that. But at the end, I spoke to Tim Dean, our last chair, who spent more years than I've certainly here with the IDA and has been deeply involved with the county, CEO and president of the Marshall Sterling Insurance Company board. And so I asked him whether he would mind joining us for interviews. You know, he's a seasoned person. It would be very valuable to have his input. Of course, we don't know if he has the time, you know, on those selected dates, but the invitation is out there. If that's, I'm sorry, I jumped in ahead of without asking you guys, but I think.
So we should include him on the doodle.
On the doodle, please, yeah. And so his Marshall Sterling email is active and would be fine. So Ron, give us a quick, because I thought that was a really fascinating insight into Dutchess County future.
Yeah, there are some things that were shared in confidence because of this board is under NDAs and it is an advisory council. As it relates to the potential future structure of the economic development apparatus, that is, I won't talk about in a public meeting yet because it is still in draft form and awaiting advice from the executive, the legislature, as well as the council. However, we are planning going forward with the formalizing of an economic development strategy and the formalization of the EDAC and MOUs between the EDAC and county and the different organizations that this all comes from the study that was done by MRB Group. Formal MOUs so that every entity understands exactly what the expectations are of the county and the legislature, the executive, and the council. So, and it'd create great clarity and understanding of what we all need to be doing and how we need to be held accountable. As it relates to IBM, again, the only thing I can share at this time is, you've heard me say this, I've been talking about it since 2017, quantum computing. This is the center of quantum in the world right now in Poughkeepsie. IBM is leading quantum research. They're refreshing their buildings. They're looking at potentially new either demolition, restructuring, renovations, or new builds, and anything could change tomorrow. But for the first time since the 90s, I've heard of them. They have a lot of job openings, but they're looking at potentially increasing their workforce by a very important number, a very significant number. But most importantly, that quantum and it's in this region here between Yorktown and what is now the north end of RPI, because RPI now has a quantum. We're trying to facilitate this quantum valley here, and we are at the center of it. The IBM has the world's largest quantum and only data center and the largest concentration of quantum computers. Now, if they can harness quantum and commercialize it, that will not replace the System Z. It will complement the System Z and AI, and that could be a great deal for our area. We are going to need additional housing. We are going to need housing at every end of both ends of the spectrum, by the way. But it was very positive news, and anything could change tomorrow. But I mean, they were talking about that center where we are, about bringing in an F1 simulator, which I thought was just extraordinary, that you would bring something like that in for your clients. It means there's a tension here. And I've been saying this for a little while that Poughkeepsie is probably more strategic to IBM now than IBM globally than it ever has been in my lifetime. So it's very exciting. And one of the best things was that the power that's sucked up by servers and data centers and System Z is really eliminated by these quantum computers because they use a fraction of the power. They're extremely efficient, despite the fact that they have to be kept at temperatures that are the coldest in the universe. So,
yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. The other component to the much reduced, we hear about AI and its huge suck on the electrical systems, but this is there's no concern on that side of things. But on the power side, the ability to compute is really radical. At least that's what they're talking about. So they're in their research phase, but they're building out. They have been doing this for what, 10 years, they said?
The origins of this go back to the sixties apparently, but they've been hot and heavy for probably a decade. Yeah.
So one thing, I don't think that you have shared, and I think it would be great for the board to see the MRB study. If that's okay with you, that's a countywide, we're in the county process helping to make decisions. If you could share that. And then obviously your organizational chart is in process, so you're going to have to do what's necessary at the county level before being able to share that, right?
I'd actually like to present both at the next meeting.
No, fine, okay.
Yeah. And give you a full briefing. And Chairman, I have to say, I really appreciate what you're doing here, because this was the way it was supposed to be since the creation of the EDAC, is that the chairman and executive director of these organizations sit as ex officio members and report back to this board about what's going on, and keeping you informed so that you understand the context of economic development and activities in the county as you make your decisions. And so the strategy that we will look to develop, and we hope that we can do that with our existing revenues. If not, we may go to the county and ask for some funding or some move around funding for the study on our strategy. That will help to support the UTEP and any change that you need to make in the future.
Right, I guess I'm really hogging the time here, but so with the IBM news and the study and some changes that we can see we're going to be making, I think that we, as an organization, as a group here, should have an opportunity to discuss our business also with Department of Planning, with Planning Commissioner. I think that, what you've just said is that, the developments at IBM are going to expand employment probably fairly substantially, need for housing, need for infrastructure, all of those things. That is the epitome of planning department business. So I think we should be on the same page if we
Yes.
possibly can be.
And if you remember that org chart, that is what that lays out. So I'd love to be able to, once I get the blessing of the legislature and the executive on this, I'd love to share that publicly.
Good. Thoughts?
I think, the more information we have, the better decisions we can make.
Yeah, and we do have some homework in between meetings with the policy and procedure and.
Yeah, now, thank you. Good point. To be able to actually make that, rather than just saying it should be done.
I know we met a couple of weeks ago, but, or late August it was, but we need to meet again. And, we're gonna have more projects like
Right.
Jackson Crossing where, if there's not affordable aspect, we're gonna have to have, on a per unit basis, a fee to the housing trust.
So we have remind me, a standing policy committee,
Yes.
subcommittee?
Yes.
Right, we do. I believe I'm on that too.
Yeah, you just got on it because Tim was on, and Amy, myself and Amy.
Yeah.
And it's open to anybody, I think.
Right, so, I would say, I don't know how you guys want to run that. Let's just do one thing at a time. Let's make
Right.
sure we interview our,
That's probably the most important.
Yes.
and then, because that's gonna take some time, let's plug up our calendar too much, and then we'll get on with the policy.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I mentioned this at the last meeting, something that the state passed last year, and it relates to childcare consideration. I do have some drafts for you to consider in the policy. I just want to remind everybody that as a result of a few meetings ago, we changed the application to include additional conflicts of interest so that the applicant has to explain or present any individuals or organizations that they're currently in contract with or expect to be in contract with in the application that they send to us. So that's just an additional, that came as a question that came from the public during one of our meetings. So we've updated that application to improve in transparency and disclosure.
Thank you. Right, we'll adjourn the LDC meeting and thank you all very much.